Oh, it's a brand new era in both NXT, NXT UK, and this channel right here. It's with Lobito, and we're breaking down what's going down across the pond between NXT and NXT UK. It's Draped in Gold, man, presented by GamerWare. Make sure you suit up at gmrware.com. But you know what? I am not alone. I never am. I'm being joined by my tag team partner, the man I get to drill and give the third degree for an entire hour, and he has nothing to do but answer my questions because he has no choice. Give it up for the real Jack Farmer.
I'd like it to be known that I am here under duress. I do not want to have to be drilled and given a third degree. I don't enjoy it, but here I am anyways.
The benevolent Jack Farmer. That's what you are.
You're welcome.
Oh, he's already healed. Great. Imagine you, this is a guy who's like, I'll sell out and ends the show with be yourself. So let's start off the top, man. Huge show. NXT UK, the Heritage Cup tournament rolls on. Let's start with that, actually. Trent Seven in a classic against Kenny Williams. Now, the result to me was in doubt. On paper, it looked like Trent Seven was going to go over, but the way it happened had me go, damn, Kenny Williams, you got skills. Talked about the match and the tourney so far.
Kenny Williams, he actually proved a lot to me tonight. He definitely reminds me of almost like a Spider-Man in the ring, the way he just fights on and goes through things, but also the way he's so fluid in the way he can go from one move to the next. Now, I agree. I don't think he ever had a chance of winning this match, even though the commentators did seem to believe he had some momentum going behind him. I don't think any of us experts who've been watching wrestling for a long time really believed he was going to win. But he did show me something. He kicked out of that Snapdragon suplex into Emerald Frozen, which blew me away. He really kept Trent Seven working. He showed me a lot today, but I think he relies on luck too much. I think he needs to realize that there is no luck in pro wrestling. You make your own luck. I think that's why he came up short, but also, of course, he had a match with Trent Seven, and Trent Seven is the one guy I really worry about winning this tournament over my pick Mastiff because he is so big, he is so strong, and the biggest thing about him is his experience and the way it really showed through today. Something I noticed about Trent Seven today is that he wrestled with patience. I think a lot of the wrestlers in this tournament right now hear that bell go off and think of those short rounds, and they are wrestling with a little bit of urgency and a little bit of rushing things, where Trent Seven knows it's not one round, it's the whole thing. And I think that patience is what really gave him the edge here and gave him the ability to hold on until that final fantastic counter from the Frankensteiner off the top into the pin.
Will you stop with the Frankensteiner business?
That's where they call it where I'm from.
Yes, okay. Because you are from a wrestling promotion. Listen, Kenny Williams, if you had to draft him into the fictional Jack Farmer Pro, what round would you draft him in, and would you even draft him at all? Is he that good to be on anyone's roster?
I think he's definitely a prospect. I think he's definitely someone you want to watch. I think big things are coming his way because what makes him great, and I think what makes him stand out, is that you could plug and play him just about anywhere. If you want to make him tag team, great. If you want to put him in a cruiserweight division, I don't know what his exact weight is, but I think he might be small enough to get into there. I also think he could hang with a lot of the workhorse titles in the WWE. So you can use him in a lot of places. And like I said, coming into this match, I was thinking this is a guy that didn't even belong in the tournament to begin with, had to fight his way just to get into the tournament. Woo. And then he talks about how he's relying on luck. I didn't want to give this guy a lot of credit. So the fact that he earned it from me today shows a lot. Plus, I like the way his tights look. And to me, that means nice. Something. They were pretty cool. Yeah. So I think he showed me something. I think he's definitely a prospect. And I definitely think he's one to watch. Us wrestling fans, Flobo, there's different types of wrestling fans. And there's definitely a market of wrestling fans that loves finding these guys before they've peaked and before they've made it. And they enjoy watching the journey. And I think if you're that kind of wrestling fan, Kenny Williams is one of those guys. I think he's going to have a really fun journey throughout his career as he grows.
Last question I have for you on this one. So Trent Seven is facing Dave Mastiff, your pick to win it. Some would say that Trent Seven is a favorite to win it all. So this semifinal match could have been a final in alternate universe. Who do you got still, man? I mean, Mastiff is the biggest man in the tournament. Will you double down your picks, or here's your chance to get out and swap, man? Here's your chance.
Yeah, I think that is going to be the Arby's roast beef sandwich match of the tournament. These two big fellas going at it. And
of all the meats you could have used.
Listen, they're gonna. I didn't say it was gonna be pretty. I said it was gonna be beefy, and that's what this match is gonna be. I'm still a Mastiff guy. I think the fact that he was able to knock out his opponent says something. As we've spoken about before, sometimes people go into a tournament with just a different vibe, and it makes you. It forces you to focus on them. And I think Mastiff, that's where he is right now. I think he's on a different level. I think he's going to barrel right through this tournament and on to bigger things. But you can't look past the tournament. It is going to be a tough road. He's got a lot of tough matches, but I'm not giving up on my pick of Mastiff. I've never made a wrong prediction in a tournament for NXT UK before.
I think this is the 1 year anniversary of you making a wrong prediction in another tournament and had to wear a lucha mask, but that's neither here nor there. It is Los Angeles right now. It is overcast, it's cloudy, and for me, it's perfect coffee drinking weather. Jack Farmer, what coffee should I try?
If you're going to try coffee, if you like good coffee, you should definitely go to www.thebroasters.com and get some of their amazing single origin organic roasted weekly coffee. Small business supported here. Go visit them, get the coffee, and type in promo code BROCODE1. You're going to like the coffee they send you.
That is cool, man, because the Brosters people, they sponsor this show, they sponsor the Anytime Radio show, man. They're just out there just throwing those dollars, millions of dollars.
Yeah, they sponsor small business, so it'd be great if the listeners and the viewers did the same and sponsored them and helped them out. Another small business, great couple over there out in New York, your neck of the woods. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, other action today was one of the more curious matches on the card. I want to talk about it because I'm Flobito. The women's division, we had Amel against Nina Samuels. The French Hope was on the losing end of this matchup. Now, technically, this match was heel versus heel. Antagonist versus antagonist. Ne'er-do-well versus Rapscallion. But it looks like there's a whole new chapter for Nina Samuels, a bit more aggressive, and she got the win today. What's this mean for these two competitors and the women's division as a whole?
I think today what Nina showed us was that she was right to walk away from Amel last week. She was right to say that she's not a co-star. She is just a star. Watching this match, it felt like Nina was in control the entire time, laying down a beatdown on Amel, the same kind of beatdown that Amel was on the other end of last week during that tag team match. So Nina was smart. She didn't want to be a part of a beatdown. She left that situation and got on the other side of it. As mentioned, listen, she knows she's a star. She knows that she's not a co-star. This is where she really, really showed that she deserves to take things to the next level. I predict big things for Nina. Amel, on the other hand, I think maybe she should start watching some Nina tape and learning what makes a true star.
How dare you discuss the French Hope should watch some more Nina Samuels tape? Amel is way better. But you know what? It's not about wins and losses. I'm sure they had fun till fun was the score. But now, since Nina won her match, and since you're the biggest fan now, let me ask you this. What is Nina Samuels' ceiling? Is she UK Women's Championship material? And I know you're going to say yes, she is, but is she going to be one of the ones that are solidified for the title, or will she be a flash in the pan?
The people who say wins and losses don't matter are always the people with a lot of L's in the columns. That's what I say. Wins and losses do matter, and she won today. Could she be a champion? Of course she can. You can't get to NXT UK without having the talent to become one of the best in the world. Now, she's got to get past Piper, it sounds like. Sounds like those two are on a collision course, and that's going to be very interesting to see. But I never, ever, ever bet against the women's champion, Kaylee Ray. So someday, maybe, but for now, I think the division belongs to one woman.
You like the worst of the roster. And by worst, I mean worst characters. I'm not knocking anyone's skill or talent. But talking about collision courses, a very WWE type structure, having a show end on a contract signing, and it goes awry. But yet, this organization still does more contract signings. You would think after a while they would say, so much damage is being inflicted.
Someone in the HR department needs to be fired for this. Like, why are they handling
security? Like, it's just Boyce gets scholars. Like,
Sure, we're like 1,000 for 1,000 on bad situations happening during these contract shinings, but sure, let's do another one. It'll be fine, I'm sure.
Always a bad decision. But we had our one next week. Walter, the ring general, is defending his NXT United King of Championship against Ilya Dragunov. And this third down was a unique one because Ilya was aggressive. He got chopped in the face for his efforts, and everything broke down. Now, I'm going to ask you a question that may seem like an easy answer, but it's not the more I think about it. Will Walter lose next week on NXT UK?
So I want to first break down this contract signing because I was justified today, Flobo. I was proven correct. What happened when they both got out to that ring? Walter sits down. Walter's casual. Walter knows nothing's going to go wrong for him. But what was Dragunov doing? He was tense. He was scared. He was nervous. When Walter got handed the contract, what did he do? He shrugs, he signs, and he's done. They're like, do you want to say anything? He's like, no, I'm cool. And then Dragunov gets it. What does he do? Watch the tape. He pauses. He hesitates. He looks at Walter first. Then he looks back down at the contract. Dragunov, as I said last week, is terrified of the ring general. He's terrified. And you could even see after he signed it, he had so much adrenaline and so much anxious energy. He stood up and started like a raving maniac yelling. Luckily, Walter was there to literally slap some sense into him and calm him down a little bit. But then he went crazier. And I feel like we did need some security to restrain him because he just doesn't understand what it's like to be at that level the way Walter does. He doesn't understand what being a champion really is like Walter does. And it really showed today. You're asking,
he doesn't understand what the champion. Oh, come on. He's going to take him down. He pinned him last week. He knows when it's done. He's been to the promised land. It just has to count. He's been there.
He chopped Dragunov so many times that's going to have an impact on his lungs, on his back. I'm going to tell you this right now.
That's metal in your lungs.
Next week is going to be the first time a dragon gets slayed for trying to take someone else's gold. The only reason, just like General Patton, the only way that Walter's going to stop winning wars is when there's no more good wars left to fight. He marches through Dragunov next week and is on to the next crusade. That's my prediction.
It will be disheartening that of all this time with the pandemic, Ilya gets one match, one opportunity, and if he doesn't land it, he just disappears and goes back to the end of the line. Is that how that works? Is that fair?
I think what's going to happen with Dragunov is after he gets the beating that he has coming to him, he's going to decide, hey, you know what? There's other things I can do. There's safer things I can do. There's other people for me to have matches with. You have once he's done with Walter, once Walter is done with him, he's going to say to himself, you know what? Maybe I could try commentary. Maybe I could try working backstage because he'll know that he's reached that ceiling and that ceiling's not made of glass. That ceiling is made of Walter and it slaps you back.
I don't know how much Imperium is paying you, man, but they're not going to let you join. They are not going to let you join. I don't know what this propaganda, man. Maybe Walter wins. There's a lot of variables. One, it's on TV. It's a normal episode. Two, Walter is that dominant. And three, Ilya Dragunov won last week. So traditional booking says he won't. But what if? What if he became the next NXT UK champion? Maybe a whole new day for that brand that coincides with the reboot that happened in September. I don't see why not.
if lightning strikes that ring and hits Walter, all it will do is turn him into a Halloween Frankenstein that will be even more dangerous than he already is. But if 2 lightning bolts hit, if somehow magic happens and Dragunov somehow finds a way to become the NXT UK champion, you're absolutely right. It's a completely new day. It's a completely new world. And for anyone who's ever been on the fence about watching NXT UK, that is reason enough alone that they need to tune in next week. Because one thing I think we'll agree on, I know that Walter's going to win because Walter's that dominant, but I think we'd both agree on that anytime he puts that gold on the line, it's must-see wrestling, and it could very well be another match of the year candidate, just like the last time he defended it, I believe, against Tyler Bate.
That match is still one of my favorites, probably of all time now. The more I watch it, the more things I pick up on it, and that's the best kind of wrestling. That's the best kind of entertainment anyway.
Yeah.
When you come back to it, you're like, oh my gosh, I did something I didn't realize. But one thing that we were writing off pretty handily in our text during the show was our opening contest. The Welsh Dragon, Eddie Dennis, takes on Oliver Carter, which I always confuse with Ashton Smith. That's why I always double check which one wrestled. Oliver Carter wrestled this week. The match was pretty much nothing to write home about, in my opinion. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but they are developing a storyline between Eddie and Flash Morgan Webster. I mean, do you think Eddie is a guy behind the mastermind behind Flash Morgan Webster's attacks last week?
Yeah, I agree on the match. I don't know if there's anything that we need to really dissect here. I think it was a good win for Eddie to come back, get the win. But it shows how he's so intelligent, right? He's definitely smarter than most of the guys on this roster. And I'm so excited that we have someone like him that's going to sit down with Flash and really find a way to solve this crime about who it was that attacked him. Personally, though, if I'm Mark Andrews, I'm not going to that meeting because I have a feeling Mark Andrews isn't going to like some of the questions that get asked him. I have a feeling Mark Andrews is going to get exposed as the ne'er-do-well, and I'm just glad we have a Sherlock Holmes style brainiac here to pick apart the clues and figure out exactly what happened to Flash Morgan Webster before this maniac who attacks people backstage has a chance to strike again.
Are we watching the same show? What is going on? It's very, very apparent that Eddie has something to do with it because, hey, no one asked him. When I was waiting to be like, I don't know what happened to that guy, which is always the reddest of red flags. I'm actually looking forward to it. I am down for more mysteries in wrestling. We'll get to that a little bit later about Xia Li. I love mysteries. Give me some mysteries.
I enjoy a good mystery myself, but as someone who has lost many games of Among Us, I can tell you that Eddie is someone you can trust and someone who will find the person who's done the attacking. Like I said, I don't trust Mark Andrews. I think Eddie's on to the things. I think he knows that that's suspect number one. And like I said, I feel like him being a former headmaster, you can just trust him. He has a face you can trust. And I believe that Eddie's going to find the guy that did it. And justice will be served. I have faith putting this investigation in his hands.
Jack sus. Don't play Among Us, man, because I realize, again, I don't have friends. I have only imposters, and they've all turned on me. I've been sent through space so many times. I tried to avoid that, but I love NXT UK. Every Thursday is actually on the point of my my appointment viewing to watch it, but we got to head over to the United States side. Halloween Havoc is 1 week away, less than that now, and we have new NXT Tag Team Champions in a swerve or a swerve upon a swerve because Pat McAfee is back. The Undisputed Era has been decimated. Birch and Lorcan are champions. Now, there's a lot to unpack there. But first things first, I am so glad my man Lorcan has a bit of gold to his resume. But, Jack, let me ask you this. What?
Finally, the Pat has come back to NXT, the greatest NXT superstar of all time, hands down. Pat McAfee is back in the ring. This is the greatest return of all time. No one saw it coming. None of the dirt sheets. None of the people that like to think they can predict anything coming. The greatest that's ever done it in history of NXT. Pat McAfee is back, and he gave he gave these two the stank they need to be the champions. I've always said that Lorcan and Birch are two of the toughest outs you'll ever face. They're always able to beat people down no matter how tough they are, but they were missing something. They were missing that little bit of swag. They were missing that little bit of fire. And in comes Pat McAfee with the electricity that ignited them, that got them to the tag team titles. Flobo, between our love of these two plus Pat McAfee, this has to be the greatest trio that we've seen in wrestling in a very long time.
I am conflicted, utterly conflicted, because I like Birch and Lorcan. I like them as faces. I like them as heels. I sat on this show and our predecessor shows defending them when everyone else was like, huh? Why? Who? Huh? I get that. But there's a lot of questions to be asked here. Breezango or the sacrificial lamb, they just go in here, they just walk into the ring, trying to have some nice normal contest, and poor Tyler Breeze gets a wallop to the nutsacks, right? But look at this. You have Undisputed Era getting beat up backstage. You have Lorcan and Birch now, I guess, working as antagonists here. And I don't understand why they would even work with Pat McAfee. Why would they say, okay, I'll give it a shot? What is Pat offering them? And don't say the championship, because they had the talent to do it. And they were number one contenders because of the attack to the era, sure, but they were going to get there eventually. Why would they say, let's cut corners after sitting in that bar saying, we'll do it the hard way? Why would they take the easy out and go with Pat? Jack?
Because they've been doing it the hard way for a long, long time. And you know what they realized today, Flobo? They realized the hard way sucks. The easy way is the good way. When was their next title match coming up? It wasn't tonight, not until someone like Pat McAfee showed up and gave them the idea, gave them the gumption, gave them the go-ahead to take matters into their own hands. And a team this tough, they can win matches, they can have tough matches, but you need something extra to be a champion. And now that Pat McAfee is here, they have that. And not those guys like Breezango who are this close to doing a song and dance number on a wrestling show, which just seems ridiculous.
I hate that.
Now the titles are in the hands of some guys who are real life beater-uppers with a real-life superstar, Pat McAfee. Flobo, you can cry all you want, but finally, these two have got what it takes, and that is the tag team titles.
I thought Pat was vanquished, but apparently he's not. It looks like the Undisputed Era, or if they're not protagonists, if they're not faces, it seems to be pretty much confirmed. Adam Cole is via satellite, and the other two guys have been basically beat up, I guess, behind the back or whatnot. What is the end game here? Are we going to have ourselves a 3 against 4? Are we having war games with Team Pat McAfee? What is the next step in your humble O?
I think the big message for Undisputed Era today, the big takeaway I had with those guys is that Adam Cole does not like Kyle O'Reilly pretending he's the alpha dog of that wolf pack. That's why he phoned in his promo via satellite to make sure that Kyle O'Reilly wasn't stepping out of his lane, grabbing a microphone, and trying to do the talking for the team without him. That's why he showed up. And you know what, Flobo? He was right to do that. He should have done that, because as soon as Adam Cole left the building, as soon as he stopped calling in, what happened? The Undisputed Era got systematically picked apart piece by piece. Would that ever have happened with Adam Cole there? Never in your life. Yeah, and then even after the beatdowns, what happens? Kyle O'Reilly says, here, we'll give away our title shot. Would Adam Cole give away a title shot?
He would
not on your life. That's why with Kyle O'Reilly trying to act like he's the leader, there is zero chance of the golden prophecy ever being fulfilled again. Kyle O'Reilly needs to learn that he needs to go back to his place, stay in his lane, and let Adam Cole be the leader, because as soon as Kyle O'Reilly tried to take things back over, they got picked apart. Pat McAfee came back and took over as the strongest faction in the company. Kyle O'Reilly, you don't have it. Adam Cole, you do. Everyone needs to figure this out, or the Undisputed Era is yesterday's news.
So what are we missing? What is it going to be a changing of alliances here? Is it going to be one giant match? Is it going to be a game of cat and mouse? What does it mean? And what does it mean for Breezango, man? Poor guys.
Breezango, they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. It just happens. Sometimes you're great, but there's just greater around the corner. I think as we look at maybe what happens between Birch and Lorcan and the Undisputed Era and Pat McAfee, I don't know. I love War Games, so sure, throw them into a War Games match. But right now, if I'm Undisputed Era, I would not want to mess with the greatest NXT superstar of all time and two of the toughest tag team competitors they've had in years.
Well, very fine words from a very... I don't know how to describe you right now. You're being very jacked. I don't like it.
Yeah. Let me. Am I wrong? Is Kyle O'Reilly the guy? Should Adam Cole let him continue to run the show, or does he need to grab the wheel and say, "Listen, you had your chance, but it's not working"?
Well, the fact that you're right is making it most frustrating. So let's move on. I don't like you when you're right, Jack. That's why it gives me the willies. Let's talk about my girl Xia Li in our next chapter of her story, where she has to have this match. She has to have a win this match. It was against Casey Catanzaro. Saw it coming a mile away. She was on the losing end of this, so this is basically going to have a fallout next week. But Raquel Gonzalez gets involved as a message to Rhea Ripley. This guy, Flobito, kind of upset that these two storylines were muddled. They didn't have to be muddled. I felt like the Xia Li storyline was interesting on its own. I thought the Rhea Ripley thing was interesting on its own. Why did that cross over? Jack, make that make sense.
Well, right off the bat, I have a question for you, Flobo. One that you're not going to like very much.
All the questions with you I don't really like very much, but continue.
Why is it that when Catanzaro is by herself, she wins matches, but when she's teamed with Caden Carter, she doesn't? Because
they're terrible together.
I thought Caden was your girl.
She is my girl individually. I don't like them together.
She doesn't win on her own, but Catanzaro does.
See here, she didn't get the opportunities. When they lose together, I'm always like, can we break them up now? No? Okay.
So I think Catanzaro is better on her own. I think Xia Li, if she had this kind of urgency before, she wouldn't be in the situation she's in. If she was trying to get these wins the way she is right now, then she wouldn't have to struggle so much. Desperation's a stinky cologne, Flobo, and I think that's something that everyone is starting to smell on her. As far as them combining things, as far as people combining things, Raquel, this is what I'm talking about. You don't go into the back and beg for matches. You don't say, I need this. You don't talk about how you used to be friends with someone, so you'll give them a chance. And you don't get into all this razzle-dazzle garbage. You go out there and you lay complete waste to everybody to make a statement. Raquel is the Diablo of the nightmare, as she says. And as of this moment, it doesn't matter what little storyline you seem to be going through in your life. Raquel is the most dominant person in the NXT women's division, hands down. That's the statement she made. Doesn't matter if you like Xia Li. Doesn't matter if you like Caden or Catanzaro or whoever. Raquel, she's the one that you're supposed to be paying attention to, and that's how you do it.
Not a doubt in my mind. I was a fan of Raquel Gonzalez back when she was Raylene Gonzalez in the Mae Young Classic. However, the match was already booked. Her promo was already on point. I don't quite understand if her coming down to the ring as a fan of women's wrestling, the guy is telling his buddies, there's this division so stacked, they need like a secondary title to have someone come in and cross the streams, if you will, to get a point across. I understand it's supposed to be unpredictable and stuff like that, but I really want to know what's going through Xia's mind. That's a cool story. You already got yourself squared away. You've already booked your match with Rhea Ripley. Beat someone else up in the next segment. Leave Xia alone. She's getting some character development for once. Once.
I hear you. I get it. But if you're not getting wins, I don't care what you have to say. If you're in trouble, great. Go tell it to someone who cares. I care about winners. If you're not winning, I have no time for you, Xia Li. Get another match. Get another win. Figure something out. Maybe become friends with Raquel because she seems to know what she's doing. I think if Xia Li came out and wrecked Rhea Ripley and Raquel next time, then yeah, I'd love to know what she's doing. But if she's going to be losing matches, then I just don't have time to care about what's going on with her.
Sai, if you want to beat up Jack, he's at 123 Fake Street, Redondo Beach, California.
Hey, you're giving out my address.
Speaking of people who won, how about Bronson Reed? He won twice last night against a very game Austin Theory because he was like, hey, man, you're just mad and jealous, and we got beat the second time. Austin Theory quit. He quit NXT in the most scariest way possible by quitting in the parking lot. I was thinking someone would beat him from behind, but it didn't happen. Austin Theory quits on TV. Thoughts about this? Because I, for one, I'm okay with it. At least the storyline, not him quitting. I'm okay with the storyline.
Yeah. I've always said that Austin Theory has the tools. He just needs to figure out when to use them. I think a lot of people think of quitting as a step back, but I think quitting can be a step forward. It's giving him a chance to sort of clear things off, get a new start, figure out what he's doing, and then maybe come back.
Quitting is a step forward? What?
Yeah. I think it's gonna be great for him. He's gonna be able to stop the momentum. He's taking control of his life, and whatever his next step is, whether it be being a delivery driver, whether it be working at Starbucks, whether it be I think that this could be a real win for him. He could change his fortunes because he's not getting wins. And
okay. You know what? If you're ever coming over to my house to watch movies, we're not watching Rocky because you'd be like, just quit, bro. Forget training, man. Quitting is bad. Quitting is terrible.
No. I mean, in reality, I do think that this is going to give him a chance to reassess what he's doing and where he's at. He came in, I think, guns blazing, wanting to do a lot, and he stumbled and he tripped. And instead of trying to just continue, I think it's okay to start over, and come back with a different perspective. It'll be good for him. I think we'd agree. He's got the tools. He's got everything you want to be a massive star, but things aren't going his way. Why continue racking up losses when you don't have to?
Let me ask you an insider question. Inside baseball. You've been watching wrestling. We've been watching wrestling for a combined, 50 years when it's all said and done?
Yeah.
When has a performer with a losing streak ever gotten over? Kurt Hawkins?
I don't think so.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the end game here? Like, what would be the benefit of him being like, I've been losing? Like, I remember when Vader did it. When I was a kid, when Vader said, I'm a fat piece of S and I give up, I was like, what a loser. Like, well, why do this? I mean, he's young. He can go in 205 Live, I guess, or beat someone up in main event. Like, he doesn't have to have the whole dramatic, I quit.
I don't think that. I mean, obviously, the idea of getting over is relative depending on what level you're considering it. Barry Horowitz, I think has stayed with us to a degree, and Kurt Hawkins to a degree. People liked him, but as far as like using that to propel yourself, yeah, I mean, like I said, losses don't help. Losses are always bad. It's always bad to lose. So I think. Yeah, I think that's why him quitting might be a good thing. Stop this before it becomes a joke. Like, what if he didn't quit? And what if this loss streak got to 25 in a row? Then what happens, right? Now he can say, whoo,
all right,
stop.
Well, someone who won handily was Bronson Reed, and that entrance is sick. Now, I love me, the thick boy. But, dude, if no one puts that guy in a position in the main event or on a pay-per-view or a title picture soon, this guy's gonna get pretty antsy because talking about having all the tools, the guy has everything and an accent. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. He's just a concentrated ball of pure power, isn't he? Just the fact that he's like a wrecking ball that just powers through things. Even someone as strong as Austin Theory just didn't seem like he could even phase Bronson Reed. And I agree with you. I love him stomping on the steps and shaking the camera because he's so colossal. I think the big thing that's changed for him, Flobo, is he dropped the thick bit and just decided to be colossal and start barreling through people. I've said before, he reminds me of Mastiff as far as being a big old thick fella that can just power through people. And man, I think I'd say the sky's the limit. I don't know how you're getting him into the sky. I guess he gets himself up into the sky when he jumps off that top rope. Geez, they talked about Austin Theory's life going through his brain before Bronson Reed fell onto him, I was thinking you could project it onto his belly and just see it on a big screen as he's coming down. But yeah, I think Bronson Reed, I'm ready for Bronson Reed to start tackling some of the bigger fish in the pond. I think it's time for him to find someone that maybe ups the game a little bit for him. I'd like to see what happens when he's in there with a more manipulative opponent, someone who's a little bit smarter, someone who's going to really kind of get into his head and not make it just about, are you strong enough or big enough? But someone like a Tommaso Ciampa that's going to take him to a different place. I'd like to see that happen.
Interesting take. Elliot Fletcher says, I think Theory joins Gargano and TJGW. Maybe. I mean, that's an opportunity. It's not an option. Maybe.
Yeah.
Moving on, I'm going to say this as level-headed as I can. Jessi Kamea sighting. What? Jessi Kamea was on NXT. Guys, you don't know what Jessi means to me, man. I mean, she puts in the work. She went to all the training sessions. She posts her workout regimen. And now she got a chance, a very long match, and a solo one-on-one contest against a former NXT Women's Champion, Ember Moon. And guess what? Hot take. She carried us up pretty well, didn't she? I think so. She kept up with Ember. She was able to have some power moves, some speed moves, got to show her lower center of basic gravity. Yeah, the result didn't go her way because Ember cheated and pulled her hair to get into a submission, and the ref let it happen. Sad play, but she took the former champ to the limit. Jessi Kamea, this one's for you. Fantastic display. Jack thoughts.
I agree. I think she did an amazing job. You mentioned the movie Rocky earlier. The greatest sports stories aren't about winning, Flobo. Rocky wasn't about him winning. Rudy wasn't about him being a great player. It was about him getting the chance to play for a single play. A League of Their Own wasn't about them being the best baseball players on planet Earth. It was about giving them a chance to compete. And going into this, Jessi, we all knew, was a huge underdog. And I think even she knew it. And since this match wasn't about winning, it was about those two things. It was about getting a chance, which she got, and competing, which I believe she did very well tonight. I thought she really handled herself well. L's are hard, but I think Jessi should be able to sleep well after her performance tonight. I think you should be proud of your girl, Flobo.
Yeah, we got to support your homies and go with them, ride with it. But after the match, though, Ember Moon, the cheater, got attacked by Dakota Kai. Looks like Dakota Kai is not too happy Ember Moon is back. Now, this is a match where if you would have told me this on paper, I'd have been like, meh. But that's credit to Dakota. She has a way of making it go, oh, I want to see this woman fight. Ember Moon, Dakota Kai, takeover worthy, you think? Or probably Halloween Havoc-ish type thing? Or just a normal episode? Like, where do you think the collision course is going?
It all depends on how things play out. Obviously, I could see this being something that we see at a takeover. I could also see it happening next week. NXT is so good about giving us such big matches on regular TV. It's so hard to tell. And in fact, sometimes you get so spoiled by these great matches. You're like, well, how is TakeOver going to stand out? And then you watch TakeOver and you're like, geez, Louise, of course, that's amazing. As far as Ember Moon goes, I felt like she's really starting to get into the swing of things. I think when she first showed up, she was kind of in preseason form, and now she's kind of getting into that mid-season form. And I have a feeling she's going to peak right about the time TakeOver rolls around, and she'll be in that playoff form. But Dakota Kai came out, and as you mentioned, Dakota Kai really brings something. I think over the past few months, she's really hit another level. And she decided today that she's no longer going to be a beggar. She's going to be a benefactor. And she's sick and tired of waiting while all these other people cut her off. She's sick of letting people take her shot. She's sick of Rhea Ripley taking her shot, sick of Shotzi taking her shot. And now she's sick of Ember Moon stepping up and saying she gets a shot. So she's here because it's time for her to be in the spotlight. And spotlights can only cover so much space. Dakota Kai is going to get into that space, even if it means pushing Ember Moon out. I love this move by Dakota Kai. She's cutting her off. She's saying, get behind me. I'm going first. And that's exactly what she needs to be doing right now.
Which woman is more likely to be NXT Women's Champion? Dakota Kai or Ember Moon?
Dakota Kai.
Really?
Yep.
Not even the returning Ember Moon.
I think if I'm picking one or the other, I bet my money on Dakota Kai because I feel like right now Dakota Kai has been very patient. She's been very good, very methodical, and she's proven her worth. I think William Regal is watching people like her and saying she is someone who deserves a shot sooner rather than later. Though Ember Moon comes with all of the hubbubaloo of being from the main roster, I think that when you get down into the ring, Dakota Kai is the person that is going to be the next champ of the two.
Let me ask you the same question about our next matchup here: Velveteen Dream versus Kushida versus Ciampa, which I could have sworn I thought it was gonna be a 1-on-1, and Ciampa just attacked Dream at the top, but it was a three-way match. And then the result was for Kushida. He gets the win here. But before we get into the analysis of the match, of the three men, who was most likely to become the next NXT champion, or next time to be champion?
Ooh, I never bet against Tommaso Ciampa. Never bet against him. He's my guy. I think he is the most he's the most dangerous person in all of NXT. So if we're talking about who's going to get a shot back at Goldie, I would take Ciampa any day. But I gotta say, Kushida really doing some good things here. He's wearing jeans now because this is the Kushida from the end of the movie coming back. I think that's what it is. But I think the truth is, man, he's doing so well because he's not doing all of the silly Back to the Future stuff anymore. He's not doing that. Am I in the 50s with my mom? Am I in the future with Buff? No, he's here now and he's winning matches. And watching this, I think the Kushida of old, had he seen Velveteen Dream hit Ciampa with the cast, I think the Kushida old would have been like, oh, that's not good. Let me check and make sure everyone's okay. The Kushida today did the right thing, Flobo. He took advantage. He put him in a pin, and he got the win. Kushida's not trying to be silly anymore. He's trying to get wins, and I think that's what's really stepping him up right now. I think that's what makes him particularly dangerous.
Kushida was never silly. He's still wearing the Jordans from Back to the Future 2, if you look closely enough.
Well, Jordans are cool.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
But they were cool. They were cool in the past. They'll be cool in the future.
I know, right? Kids won't even have feet anymore, but they'll have Jordans. Listen, yeah. I understand that Kushida, brand new flavor. Ever since he came back and started battling with Dream, really kind of put up into high gear. Got the win today. I think was the right person. I don't know where Dream is going. It's just so interesting to watch. Not getting the outside stuff involved. If you're just watching the wrestling show inside a bubble, it felt like this time a year ago, 2 years ago, the world was Dream's oyster, and he's kind of just going to give it a guy who's just been battling back and forth. To me, that backlot brawl was a devastating loss. He was never quite the same after that, or even right before that. And I know that it's just like everyone can't win every week, but I can only imagine Dream fans are frustrated right now if I had to put my dollar on it.
I think that Velveteen Dream needs to take a page out of Austin Theory's book. I think he needs to step back. I think he needs to kind of step away for a little bit. He needs to refocus. I think he came back a little too quick, a little too fast. You could see in the fact that he got hurt in his wrist. Now he's trying to power through it. He doesn't seem as sharp as he was before. Not even just in his ring work, but even just as in his entrances. There's seems to be something missing from him. And I think he would do good to, again, follow Austin Theory's lead and maybe take a step back for a little bit, reassess, and pick his spot just a little bit better than he did this go round.
Read a hot take online. Let me know how much you agree. Yes, no, or percentage of therefore. But all the cool elements of Velveteen Dream has basically been co-opted by Damian Priest.
No, I disagree.
Okay. I ask questions, man. That's
what
makes me a journalist sometimes.
Fair. I feel like I get why the statement's made, but I think it's two different things. You know, I think Damian Priest is very much a rock star, but Velveteen Dream was something different. He wasn't necessarily a rock star. There's something there's something dark about Damian Priest, where there was something different about Velveteen Dream, similar to, recently Van Halen passed away, Eddie Van Halen. He was an amazing rock guitar player, but you wouldn't say he's the same thing as Prince. Even though they're both amazing guitar players, you'd never say they're the same thing. And I think that's kind of the analogy there.
I like it. I like the cut of your jib, good sir.
Yeah.
But let's talk about matches where the winners went crazy on social. It looked like Drake and Killian are a team now officially with their music, even though Killian Dane hates it, taking on Ever Rise once again. The closest thing we have to our jobber tag team, but Everrise wins by DQ, and both members have celebrated so hard on Twitter and cut that promo. It's been retweeted like 1,000 times over this recording. Thoughts about the match, thoughts about Everrise, and thoughts about the budding relationship between Killian Dane and Drake Maverick.
Yeah, Team Dank, as I call them. Team Dank, getting, I mean, I know people love Drake Maverick. I know they want him to succeed, but can you believe, like, if you're Killian Dane, how are you excited losing to Everrise? I mean, to Everrise's credit, they're trying to show, like, hey, we're a real tag team. We do things the real way. We're not silly. We're not goofballs. We're not a random pairing that everyone hates. We're a real team. They finally get a win, but come on, if you're Killian Dane, you got to be looking at their win-loss record going, we're the one mark in their win column. How is he excited about that?
Yeah.
I mean, if Killian Dane wants to just beat people up, cool, go to the boiler room and have matches there. But I know everyone loves Team Dank, but I feel like Stop calling
that. Stop calling that.
I think Dank works. Stop. Dane and Drake. It's their name.
Team Dank.
I want Team Dank. Team Dank is gonna catch on. It's gonna be popular.
And if it does, I'll be so upset. I'm like, God, he was so clever. Dank is playing words. I thought it was a cool match. I think he was fine what it was. I know people were body shaming Killian Dane on Twitter. They're saying
that's unfortunate.
I know they should probably shave off the hair. As a guy with no body hair to speak of, it is kind of foreign to me, but I wouldn't advocate for it. Wrestling fans are weird. But
it's interesting how certain things are okay to body sham and other things aren't.
Yeah.
Like it's a weird. I mean, none of it is okay, but you know what I mean? Like if you say if someone says, hey, you need to shave the body hair off your shoulders, people say, oh, well, that's fine. Whatever but then if you said that about something else, people would be like, whoa, that's inappropriate. How dare you tell someone how to, man, it's just an interesting world.
The world is full of double standards, Jack Farmer. Well, talking about double standards, Team Dank. Double standards. We had a 6-man tag team match playoff. I missed that drop. Look out there, Phantasma taking on Ashanti, the Adonis, Jake Atlas, and your boy, Swerve. Swerve's house. Look, man, I know you're a Swerve guy. He impressed. I'm still not sold on Legado de Fantasma. They're a great idea with nowhere to go. But I will say, with a match I saw last night was pretty dope.
It was great. I thought Legado del Fantasma, these guys are just trying to make American audience more aware and more cultured and educate them on what Lucha Libre really is. And I think we should embrace that. I think a lot of American fans boo these guys and don't like them because it's so difficult for them to see that maybe wrestling is great, nay, better in other countries. And I think that it terrifies a lot of people and it makes them very nervous. And that's why they don't cheer them. Escobar has only been pinned once. He's only been pinned once. Why aren't we giving him Goldberg style chants? We should be giving him these chants. I'll tell you why. It's because we're so afraid to swallow our pride and admit that maybe Lucha Libre is better than this sports entertainment that we're so used to. We need to start giving Escobar the same credit and same respect we give to Bill Goldberg.
I don't know how you make these comments with a straight face, because you know I don't like Goldberg to begin with. So I'm not going to defend Goldberg.
That's a very layered take, by the way.
Yeah, this is like a logic trap. Like, wait a minute. Goldberg's a legend. Aha, I knew it. No, I like the idea of them together. I wonder what they're about. I still know what they're about. Okay, Escobar is he's a luchador, but he wants to show people that luchadors is not just flips and stuff. It really has a tradition aspect to it. I get him, but I don't understand Joaquin Wilder and Mendoza hanging with them. I feel like if they're then captured and converted, is it a spiritual thing? Is it like a philosophy thing? Is like Thatch Can thing? We saw that today, last night. What is your deal together collectively? I don't necessarily, it doesn't matter because the matches are okay, but the wheel's going to fall off because once we get tired of Jake Atlas with them and Swerve with them, their next opponent, they need something else character-wise to make them that much more important. You just can't have them beat the same 3 guys every week.
I agree. I think in some cases, No, it's trying. It's the same spot. I think maybe I'm twisted a little differently, but I like Swerve. I love Swerve. I've said before, I think he's got star written all over him. I think he is exactly what the next generation of wrestler is going to be like. Someone who can have their podcasts and things on the side where they connect with people in a certain way. Someone that feels very authentic in the ring and is really talented in what they do. But I got to say, Swerve, and I mean this with all due respect, you need to move on. You need to go a different direction. It's just not happening. It's not happening. And look, if you're a firefighter and you put your ladder up against a building and you work really hard and you climb up that ladder and you climb up that ladder and you get halfway up the ladder and you realize you're crawling up the ladder to the wrong building, you don't keep climbing up that ladder. You go back down, you move the ladder, and you go somewhere else. And what I'm saying is I appreciate all the work you've put in to become the Cruiserweight champion, but I think it's time to maybe go after the North American title, maybe go after the NXT title, maybe go after one of those workhorse titles like the US title or the Intercontinental title. But that Cruiserweight title, it belongs to Escobar, and nobody's taking it.
I was going to say, shout out to Johan Pena. It was his birthday yesterday. What up, Johan? Happy birthday, bro. Thanks for coming to the live show.
Happy birthday. Will 5 stud.
Will 5 stud, muffin. I can't believe I'm saying this. I guess I kind of agree. Look, everyone has told me told me that the praises of Shane Strickland can't be understated enough. He's amazing here. He's amazing there. But all I've seen him done right now in NXT is struggle with this Cruiserweight Championship, and it doesn't seem to be moving anytime soon. So yes, I'm tired of seeing him struggle in that division. Put him somewhere else, maybe North American title. But again, maybe you're right. Overall, Jack, dubs do matter, and he has to start winning matches. So I've been convinced about that. So yes, I'm open to see what Swerve can do more, especially now his profile is raising because the WWE Network just acquired like 9 podcasts overnight, and he's one of them. But yeah, I think that might be beneficial, and maybe the next opponent for Legado Fantasma will give him something to wrestle about.
I do want to. Oh, I stepped right on your transition. I'm so sorry.
No, continue. What's up?
I was going to say, I wanted to mention Adonis, though, in this match.
Yeah.
I thought that this is a chance. Like, Adonis just shows up, and it's a really good opportunity for him to really stand out and really show up. He's in a great spot. He's mixing it up with the Cruiserweight champion. He's mixing it up with the number 1 contender at the same time. So this is a chance for him to show us what he can do and what kind of value he provides by turning on Atlas and Swerve and joining Legado del Fantasma, Flobo. I think he should do the smart thing and join those guys and help bridge that gap of Lucha Libre to the American audiences. This is his chance to do something really good and really stand out. What do you say? Are you on board with this?
No, absolutely not. Why? They're a good unit. I just think they're generic and bland. I don't think you should start adding people. If you can't tell what you're about, you shouldn't add people. If Retribution had 7 more members, I'd be like, why? Tell me more about these people first.
Well, I mean, we still don't know the numbers of Retribution technically. I feel like it's different people every time. But
it's like Randy Orton's wife. This is my
wife. But yeah, I think I say turn on those other 2. Go into business for yourself. Jake Atlas seemed to be doing that during the match. Why doesn't Adonis do it? Go with the winners. Quit trying to be your own person and start just joining the winners. That's what I say.
And lastly, tonight, Timothy Thatcher, another one of Jack's favorites. You know he's a bad guy. Had a live demonstration of his Stash Can with Anthony / Andrew. It didn't end well for poor Anthony / Andrew. He basically got stretched out. Now, I'm done with this. Timothy Thatcher is cool. I've seen this gimmick before. I want him to start having matches, but you love this sort of thing. So tell me, Jack, why am I wrong? Why?
Thatcher's so good. He's so ruthless. He is so talented and so tough. He can literally teach people how to beat him, and they still will not be able to beat him. I want to see him have matches too. But you know what the big problem is, Flobo? Who is he going to have a match with? Who is it worth his time? He's so talented. Is it worth him having matches with? No, there's no one talented enough to stay in the ring with him. And until that time, he needs to find other ways to make ends meet. He needs to teach people, hopefully train someone to get on his level. But guys like Andrew and Anthony just can't keep up.
Well, take it from me. Don't try this at home, even though he's telling you how to do it. I thought, Timothy Thatcher, if they had a program with Bronson Reed, I'd be here for it. I think that would totally be a good idea.
Didn't they tease? They teased that a bit, didn't they?
They teased that they had one match with the North American Triple Threat Tournament matches about 2 months ago. But I think an extended program with Taz Can versus somebody who's colossal, I think that'd be the best clash of styles for either man this week. For me, though, not a fan.
You know who he would fit in really good with?
Who?
Timothy Thatcher.
Imperium.
When you think about it, Imperium. He is built for Imperium.
He's American. That won't work.
You got to expand, Flobo. They're not all.
What I'm saying is Americans do it differently. Like Drew Gulak's catch point, Timothy Thatcher's can. It's like Imperium is like
the Roman Empire. Imperium's going to grow, and it's going to start bringing in these different things and incorporating them into what they do and just become unstoppable.
You want to recreate the NWO so bad.
It would just be too sweet.
Okay, Jack. Now it's time for my favorite segment of the show. I've changed the name because you're always confused about it. It's the MVP of NXT. This right here is the individual on NXT or NXT UK you thought won the night. This is brought to you by Gamerware. Make sure you hit up grmarware.com. Use the promo code Flobo for a discount. Suit up, game up with Gamerware. Jack Farmer, let me ask you this. Who is your MVP of NXT?
Gamerware, by the way, great stuff. I checked showing tons of cool stuff on there. I really recommend everyone go check it out. But as far as the star, is it even a question? Is there even a point in having this segment? Pat McAfee, by a mile, the biggest star in the history of NXT, by a large margin, kicking his way to the top, bringing gold to people who've never had it in his first time there. It's an amazing thing. Pat McAfee with a bullet.
Interesting case. I would have gone with my girl, Jessi Kamea, because like most gamers, she found a way to level up, and she's not Pat McAfee. Again, I'm happy that Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch are tag team champions. They said they would, but unfortunately, they had to work with a guy who wore a cup on his face. What was that about? I have no idea. No idea.
I can't. I wonder, could he see through that? Like, I'm really curious about what that was, because he wasn't wearing it under his chin. It
was on his face. It looked like it was on his face.
Yeah, like it looked like it was meant to go under his chin, but he didn't have it under his chin, and I don't know how he could see. I don't know. It was actually a very interesting thing. Was that a mask? I don't know. But that's Pat McAfee giving us these cliffhangers, these questions, these things that we can't stop asking and talking about. That's why he's the biggest star in NXT history.
He is not the biggest star of NXT. You gotta stop doing that. You gotta stop doing that because we're gonna get hate mail, and my ego can't take hate mail. Okay, I'm trying really hard. I try really hard to make this content work. All right.
100% of his matches have been amazing and on TakeOver. How do you beat that?
You're that kind of guy who's like, Jordan won 6 rings out of 6 attempts. He's obviously better. Probability does not work in sports like that, man. It doesn't work.
I mean, look, at least we can argue that it's either he is the biggest star in NXT history or he's not. Meaning, at the very least, it's a 50-50 chance he's the biggest star in NXT history.
Before we get out of here, we got a question from Charlene. She says, did any of you boys meet X-Pac? Thoughts, Jack?
I've never met X-Pac, no.
Oh, I have, and that is all. All right, y'all, it's about time to get out of here. This is Draped in Gold, your slice of NXT and NXT UK coverage. My name is Boyce, but this guy is all over the internet. Jack Farmer, where can the world find you online?
Yeah, you can find me at jackcfarmer.com as well as at RealJackFarmer across all social media. You can also check me out on the Anytime Radio Show every single Monday. We have new episodes. We've got a theme episode next week. And in 2 weeks, we've got a themed episode that's sing-along songs. So hit me up at Anytime Radio on Twitter and let me know what your favorite song to sing along to is. We'll get that played on the show.
Well, you know, the biggest sing-along song I ever played at a wedding, you're not going to believe this. It was Shipping Up to Boston. Like 200 guys were like, Shipping Up to Boston. And all the female guests were like, oh my God, my boyfriend is embarrassing the hell out of me.
That's one of those songs that starts off so cool. And then like halfway through, it's like, I lost my leg. And you're like, what happened to this song?
Yeah,
this is so weird.
Shipping Up to Boston.
Yeah.
I gotta get out of here though.
Okay.
No, well now you tease me. What is it, Jack?
I was gonna say I had a sing along at an event that went off, and it was Chumbawamba Tub Thumping that went off like bonkers.
Really?
Yeah, it was. There was an inside joke around it somewhere within the families, but it went off, and it was so fun.
I feel like
was one of those ones I tried again at another wedding. It didn't work as good.
Yeah, I feel like Thumb Thumping is like the Friends theme song where the first 10 seconds are like, yeah. I got to get out of here, though. It's your boy, Flo Pizza. You can follow me at Flobo Boys. I'll be back here right here on this channel in a couple hours for Commander's Log, the Star Trek Discovery post show, and a bunch of other shows are coming down the pipe. I'm working on something I want to share with you guys. Be back here next week for the brand new news. But until next time, what do you say? Don't be yourself and sell out? What's the...
Get money, make money, get out.